Mr. Sharpe, are you ready? Yo, 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 yo. What's happening, everybody? Woo! I see everybody coming on in. What's up? Let me take a moment to, well, before we even go any further, I know last week, I got messages like, yo, Sharpe, what's up? What happened to the show? Last week I was in quarantine. I thought I wasn't feeling hot, so I was like, you know what? And Derek was like, I ain't coming. So I had to take the test, and I would tell you that test, woo, bro. Listen, oh my gosh, yo, like I learned something about myself. I really did. I learned a lot about myself taking that test. And it was crazy. But I'm talking about they didn't do one nostril, they did both nostrils. So they went up, and next thing you know, and I was like, I feel like all my manhood was gone for a minute. But hey, you know what? I did it. It's all right. I did it. Let me fix my camera here. All right. So it was pretty interesting. My test came back negative. I'm thankful for that. I'm here. I take my vitamins and take my supplements, and it's all good to go. So while we're here, just take a moment. If you're watching, please share this. Start bringing people in. We can share this. I'm gonna say hi to everybody. I see we got Kathy, Devin, my secretary, Mary Lou. She's just more than a secretary. She's my family. See Jules, what's happening? Oh, yeah, coming all the way from Vegas, Nevada. Lucas, how you doing, Devin? All right. So listen, Derek is on his way. I can't control this guy. I think he's still hurting. If you haven't watched the last episode where Chris Downey was working him out, I think he might have still been in the bed ever since then. So he is on his way. He gonna probably pop his head on here, being all extra. But but I want you to make sure we have. Man, I got my boy on tonight, and this is just one of my many friends that I'm bringing on. I still got more. It's just hard to kind of get everybody in at the same time, but I always try to mix it up. But I got my buddy. He's coming in from Pittsfield, and listen. I don't know if you ever checked out his social media. He is awesome. I mean, this gentleman, I seen him and I'm like, yo, this dude he's awesome. He's good to go. And I was just like, he came to visit me, and I was like, yo, like, you know what? Like he's even better in person. Like, and he's funny. Oh God, and he wears wigs like I do. Yeah. But he came to visit, hung out with me for a little while, and me and my man Bobby Smith, basketball cop out there in Gainesville, he came out there. So just an awesome guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring him on. But like I said, if you have not shared this, please just take a moment, push the share button. It won't hurt you. It won't do nothing. It's not like you're taking a COVID test either. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring my man on. Let me see where he at. Derby.
I'm here.
You here? My man, what's going on?
Listen, I feel like I'm missing something. Am I missing something?
You might be. You look very comfortable.
Stand by. I knew I was missing something.
Here we go. Listen, when you do live, anything is liable to happen. Anything can happen at any given point in time.
Woo!
Oh, hey!
There it is.
Yes, my man. Listen.
I knew I was missing something.
Hey, listen. Yes, dear better me, my man. All right, listen, I appreciate the love.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
So what's going on with you, man? How you doing?
Yeah, not much. You know that the world is it's a crazy place out there, you know, as we discussed beforehand. And I just you're down to just taking one day at a time now. I can't even look a week ahead because it's just things change that quick. So
Yes. So, okay, Pittsfield. Where is that located at? For everybody that's watching, I know you have a ton of followers, and they're probably like,
I got a ton of followers, dude. You got like almost 100,000 followers. Yeah.
You have to put that pressure on me though.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I'm an introvert, so it's like when you say that, I'm like, I'm not posting nothing. I act as if I have 10 followers.
Oh gosh. Yeah. How many are watching? Oh, we got 69 people watching us, so that's pretty good.
Oh yeah. And like I said, if you're gonna watch it, please share it. You know, I got my man. Listen, you got to go check out his social media. Also, I'll put that down here at the ticker. If you haven't checked him out, please check him out. Officer Darren Derby. And so tell them where Pittsfield is at.
All right, so Pittsfield, most people are familiar with the capital of New York, which is Albany, New York. We are 45 minutes to the east of that, just over the New York border into Massachusetts. So we're technically still Boston fans, but we're close enough to be Yankee fans.
So let me hold on. Now you know I'm a New England Patriots fan.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I always knew I liked you.
Listen, Brady or no Brady, it doesn't matter. It
right.
don't matter.
Right. You know, it's like a foreign league. We just keep bringing more in.
There's always somebody out there that's going to be better than you, stronger than you, and eventually he's going to fade away and he's going to be a has-been. So
yeah, you know, but he's still, you know, I still got a fat head of him. I don't care where he's at. That's still my man. He's still the GOAT. Okay. So for the people, how long have you been a police officer?
I'm going on my 20th year in law enforcement.
Oh, you just as old as me.
Yeah, you know, I think we discussed this before. That so yourself, me, Bobby White. By the way, you mispronounced his last name.
What'd I say?
I don't remember, but it wasn't White. And I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, you said Smith.
Oh, listen.
That's another guy.
No, Bobby White. I knew, but you know what? My basketball coach was Bobby Smith. I'm sorry, Bobby White. I said that. Yeah, I'm sorry, Bobby. He gonna probably beat me up too.
He probably is.
Yeah. I know.
So I started about 20 years ago as a corrections officer, and then eventually got into patrolling the streets of a nearby town part-time while working at our house of correction. And then I left there at I think in 04, 05, and then I started dispatching for my current PD, and then in 09 I went to the full-time academy, and here I am.
Yes. So, you know, that's funny because I started off in corrections too. And I started off in juvenile corrections, and, you know, I was working with kids and I saw kids coming in and they were broken. And I'm looking at these kids and you just talk to them. Like, people always want to know, like, Sharpe, what is it that kids love about you? Why do they listen to you? Because I felt like at the time you just sit down and listen to them. And I watch your videos too, and I see you sit down and sometimes you don't say anything. You might say a couple of words, but they listen. Like, you listening to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the missing ingredient with kids. And when I sat down to listen to kids, I found out a lot about them. Like, I found out, like, kids will tell you, the darndest things, and you can hear things too. And one of the biggest things I always heard was like, yeah, you know, I wish my dad was around more. So kids look for that father figure in people. And I'm talking about, I just like literally, so it was like when the police came, it was kind of like, man, I didn't want to do this, but it was an opportunity as well to be able to touch more kids and try to get them before they came into that system. So what was your motivation of why you became a police officer? What's it say, I got to do this?
I don't know if it's, and I think you'll agree with this, is that it's not, you know, I think every young child at one point in their life, whether you're a boy or girl, I think you want to be an officer at some point, right? So, I mean, because it's when you're like, you know, knee high to a dingo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can, all you imagine is that the police are larger than life, or the firemen are larger than life, or you want to be a doctor, right? So it's one of those main professions that almost, I don't know anybody who hasn't in one point or another in their life said, hey, I want to be that person. So, you know, I think it's always been, it's been instilled in me. And then I just, you know, I didn't always make the right choices in my life. You know, my childhood wasn't the, you know, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. You know, I had my childhood was an okay childhood, but, you know, I had some rough patches with my parents and my mother in particular. But I think it was a path that I was going on. And I think eventually life leads you there, you know, and I think you can agree that you're chosen for this job. You know, there's a lot of people who want to do this job, but they're not chosen. You know, they're following their dream, but their dream is hard to become a reality. It's difficult to make it a reality in this job because it's not what you think it is.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I feel sometimes I'm torn because I feel nervous for new officers coming in because the way that the climate is changing, and I feel so nervous for them. And we just hired some new officers, and I see these young officers, and I'm like, they look like they're ready to go, and they're ready to save the world, and they're ready to be a positive force. You know, I talk to them, they're like, yo, I want to do community policing just like you.
Do you save the world?
Oh boy.
Yeah, listen.
Oh boy.
Listen, look who showed up.
Yeah, he just walks in when he wants to.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it's like that sometimes.
Yeah, so let me see. Yeah, so hold on, can you hear?
Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, so basically, hold on, can you still hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta figure because we had some technical difficulties in here earlier today. So you coming in here wrecking shop, man.
How unprofessional is this B Sharpe show?
Right. Well, anyways, you know, like I said, but you know, I was looking at some of these younger officers, and they look like they want to come in and save the world, but it's just like I feel nervous for them because even if they go out and put their best foot forward, there's people out here that just don't like police. And the other thing is police is never going anywhere.
Yep, never. No matter how bad the protests get, or no matter how bad that, you know, the hatred becomes, we're not going anywhere. You know, I think fortunately for the other side of the people, we are going to be here, but you know, they're going to have to learn to love us or like us, or just don't talk to us. I don't care.
He makes a good point.
What are you doing?
I had to get him set up because he is late, and you know, I just have to do what I have to do with him. So it's like my toddler.
He's a terrible person. Don't egg him on. You're a terrible person.
Oh,
if he would have had this ready, I mean, I should have been able to walk into the studio and just be here. But I'm glad to be here. Nice to meet you. I like how you said the police aren't going anywhere.
No, we're not going anywhere. I mean, you know, so we're currently going through somewhat of a stage where our homeless are finally being recognized, and they have pretty much made an encampment at our local park, our city park, which is a beautiful, gorgeous park that people frequent a lot and walk. And, you know, they are currently there, and a lot of them don't want us there, but what they're realizing is the amount of crime that's now taking place there, and, you know, theft, because there is no law and order. And without law and order, what do you have?
Mm-hmm. So, you know, one of the things that people always ask me, and I'm very flat out about it, and the thing is like I face this thing where not only am I a police officer, but I am a Black man in America. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that people always ask me, and they go, you know, so, you know, what do you think as far as it's always like they got people in my face, and they always try to challenge me, and I'm like, listen, we need police. It's not going anywhere because there are people who cannot defend themselves. But I also tell them too, guess what? We do need a change in some of the police departments because a lot of the police departments are running on this old mentality, and they have to have some change because we have to adapt with what's going on in the country now. And I think that's the big thing. So what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think, you're right. We have to change the way that policing was taking place in the, prior to what we're seeing now. I can't say it was wrong how, we enforce certain things and we go about our job. What a lot of people don't realize is what we see on a day-to-day basis affects us as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are starting to realize that, but they're realizing that through our actions, both good and bad.
Right.
It's a crazy topic to talk about, and it's too long for on here. But I think there is a reason why we saw what we're seeing, why we're seeing what we're seeing within the bad side of law enforcement. But we need change. I don't know anybody who isn't accepting this change, especially in this profession. But whatever that change is, it's got to be equal on both sides. You can't have people on one side saying, hey, the police, they can't do this, and then, but we as the police understand why those things are in place. And I think that it's just going to cause chaos, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be hurt.
Right. If you have any questions or anything like that, make sure you put it in the comments, and we'll post it up. We'll make sure we ask if you have any questions for Darren, or if you got any questions for the doctor over here, or me at that. But
hey, Doc, I wanted to ask you. I got an itch on the bottom of my foot. Can you?
Oh!
So you know what? I do. The best cream for that is going to be the jock itch cream.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Is that,
trust me.
Oh my God.
Isn't that like a? I bought something. I think it was like blue something. Is that Selsun Blue, Heather?
Yeah, Selsun Blue does good. You can wash up. Yes, you can wash up with Selsun Blue. It does amazing. But use the jock itch cream on your feet and watch what happens.
Never would have known that. I appreciate that.
Oh my God.
I'm a Google doctor.
Google doctor. See, I knew it. I knew it.
Listen, somebody wants to know if I've ever had hair. Yes, I've had hair. It's really, there's not a lot there. It's mostly on the sides. Yeah.
Oh, whoa. You know what? I got a picture. I actually have a picture of you with hair.
Oh yeah. Check that out.
I had hair too.
Oh.
You're terrible.
Oh, man.
See how he treats people?
Hey, listen. I mean, listen. When you get with me, it's a party, no matter where we go.
Listen, that was the first thing I wanted to do. I told you we got to go to Starbucks. We got to go order from the barista.
Yeah, that's right. I feel like I'm so busy. I haven't been there for.
No, I haven't seen one of your videos from the barista, and they probably miss you.
I know, but they just change all the time. I see them; they getting promoted. Some of them moving to different states, and I'm like, oh boy, look at y'all, Austin Diddy. So okay, Darren. So tell us. I think one of the biggest things that I've seen, and I know a lot of people love, and I'm going to tell you, I'm a big, huge fan of this. One of the things that your police department has, and I have talked to.
Oh my God! Just spit it out.
Hold on, I'm trying to, but I have to plant the seed. I've talked to my captain because I'm like, yo, how do we get this at our police department? But your police department has their very own ice cream truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. I got a picture of it.
There it is.
That's it.
That's it.
We need one of those. Do you know how much money I spend on ice cream all the time? Imagine if I had one of those.
Jeez.
Man, how did that come about?
So, going through everything from the incidents in Ferguson to St. Louis to Baltimore, after the 2013 rioting, and then we had Sandy Hook. It was just, I'm watching Lester Holt, and up pops the Boston Operation Hoodsie Cup. And Boston, I think, was one of the first in the nation, if not shortly thereafter, to have an ice cream truck. And I said, you know what, why can't we do this? I don't understand why we can't do this. And I was presented with an award from our local special education facility. And during that speech, there was some mover and shakers in the room that I knew that had some motivation to spend some money. And I just kind of put it out there. I said, hey, this is my next project. If you're interested in getting on board, this is my vision. And then before I even left, I think I had $7,000 already donated. So it was crazy. And within 3 months, we raised $50,000.
Wow. So so a lot of community members came together to help make that happen, huh?
A lot, yeah. So everybody from some young, these two brothers that were raking yards and took all their money. I think it was $1,200, if I remember correctly, and donated it to us. And it was the outpour from the community who drove this. I could have talked about it, and I could have, it could have easily have stopped at $10,000 or $15,000 donated, and then but it's the community who drove it to make sure that it came to fruition. And we debuted it at our 4th of July parade, which used to be one of the largest in the country. And I gave out bomb pops.
So. Wow.
I love it.
I know. Listen, we have the Football Hall of Fame here.
Listen, 45 minutes east of us is the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Wow. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Springfield.
Okay.
Yep.
So somebody did have a question for you. So Officer Derby, how long have you been out of your cruiser? She said she was born in Pittsfield and think this is awesome. Patty, she sent that message.
So how long have I been out of my cruiser? All right. So I wasn't born in Pittsfield. I was born in New Ashford, which is a couple of towns over, a population of like 180, I think, when I was a kid. And the getting out of my cruiser started shortly thereafter Sandy Hook, when we were asked to go and make special visits and walk-arounds at our local elementary schools. And prior to that, we didn't really ever go in them. I'm not sure why. And I was never motivated to go into those schools. And I think it's because me personally, I wasn't a huge fan of kids. I'll tell you right off the bat. I never wanted kids. For some strange reason, Sandy Hook kind of hit me hard. And I said, you know what? Like, I can't, why can't I just like them? So I said, you know what, I'm going to go into the school. So I started going to the schools, and it was, everybody that turned around there, it was hands up, don't shoot, hands up, don't shoot. It didn't matter what skin color, what hair color you had. They had the same, answer every time I walked into a different school. And the teachers were always like, hey, why are you here? Is everything okay? And then probably after about 2 or 3 months, when they realized that I was just there to do a walk around visit, and I was sincerely there just to meet people and check on them, was when things started to turn around. And kids were asking, hey, can you sit at my table? And then so we had special tables, and then that kind of molded into seeing those kids in school, and then also going to their house, responding for domestics, or it could be a death in a family, and they experience some sort of trauma outside of school. And then that relationship built even more. And then I would see them in school even more. I'd give them a little bit more attention than, say, the kid next to them, without them even knowing. And it was just, it molded into what we have today.
Wow. I know, seeing kids in the neighborhood, and they'd be like, can you come to my school?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. So I literally, when I was on the shift, I was actually on my lunch break. I was going to the school, eating the school lunch again, and hanging out with kids, and like the fights and the arguments. Like, he's sitting with me, and I'm like, huh? Please, just because you don't like me. I did see another really good question. This is from my girl Victoria. She's awesome. She says, Also, what does it feel most difficult when responding to calls for mental health crisis and autistic meltdowns? And I know watching your videos, if people watch your videos, you deal with a lot of children who are autistic.
Yeah, so I've been involved, and I think that all comes back to I've been involved with Special Olympics and the Torch Run for Special Olympics, which is run by police officers from around the world. And we raise money and awareness for those who are on the spectrum, Down syndrome, you name it. If they have some sort of disability that would prevent them, from, playing in any sports, that's what we're geared towards, and that we raise a lot of money for them. So I've always been involved in one way or another with those who are kind of the special young people or the special older people. So it's once you get to talk to them, they are amazing. They really don't have an ounce of hate. They don't even know what the definition of hate is, although they'll have bad days and say hateful words. They're not really using them. They're using them out of context and don't really understand the meaning of it. So I've always been somewhat attracted to go towards people who don't have hate, as I think most of us probably should. And they carry around so much love and compassion, and the fact that an officer gives them even a second of their day, it fills them with so much joy. And then I realize that it not only affects them in a positive way, but it affects me both mentally and psychologically for the day. When you're having a hard day and you run into somebody could be autistic somewhere on the spectrum, that just wants to give you a giant hug, that's, to me, is what makes the day. So.
Right. I know too, because when you came here to visit me, you gave me an actual autism patch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to see our department do that. Oh my goodness. That was like just have an autism patch for Autism Month. Man, that'd be great. Yeah.
So part of Victoria's question, I'm looking at it now, was talking about interacting with those with mental health disorders. A quick snapshot of my childhood. My mother had schizophrenia, bipolar, severe depression, and multiple personality disorder. So that's what I grew up with starting in 4th grade, was learning about mental health. And I think that's only helped me now because I can relate to a lot of them, and I understand how they're talking or the way they look. It's easier for me to get down on their level because I lived that throughout my whole childhood. And our department, like many across the country, unfortunately not a lot, we have the CIT training, which is the crisis intervention training. Mm-hmm. And at one point we were probably 60% trained, but with budget cuts and things going on in the world, we're probably back down to like 25% because of the turnover.
Right. And that, when you just said that right there, because I know too, in our department, the budget cuts, this and that and the other. But then at the same time, you said a lot of officers couldn't go and do that. Well, when you talk about defunding the police, that takes that money away for officers to be able to get certified training. And I understand, and I know too, I would love to see more counselors be able to, to go out on the streets and actually handle calls with officers. However, too, it does get dangerous sometimes. It gets very dangerous because. So
you speak of that, and we have a program here which is viewed statewide, and I'm sure at some point will be broadened even farther than that. But we have what you call a co-responder, who is a local mental health clinician who used to respond with us and ride double in our car. And anytime there was a call that could be deemed mental health related, he would be sent to that. But unfortunately, he's one person. He works 4 days a week from noon to 10 p.m. And now he drives his own self there, but waits for us. And you hear a lot of people, and I know you have, especially on the news, when they say, hey, we can defund the police and let's put it into mental health services. Well, that's great. But what they failed to do was ask those in the mental health field if they were willing to go to these places and these calls for help without the police. Their answer is going to be no. And we talk to them all the time when they say, hey, you know what, we have a crisis hotline, call the crisis line. Well, yeah, guess who crisis calls for us to go and check on them? Yeah, call us.
Right.
So it's a revolving door that, sure, they need more funding. Well, when the state cuts funding, well, who do you think is going to take it? That's why we've taken on the responsibilities that we've had through the last several years. It's.
So what do you think as far as community policing? You are an outstanding community policing officer.
Thank you.
What do you think? What do you rank that on, like, the levels of every, like, police departments? Should every police department have it, or do you feel? I mean, how do you feel about it?
You're gonna have to repeat that. Sorry.
So, what do you think as far as community policing? Where do you think, like, it ranks? Do you think that's like number 1, number 2, number 3? Where do you think it ranks in every police department, and why do you think it's important?
So, I mean, I think we can probably both agree that prior to, we started just before 9/11. I know I did. So, and prior to 9/11, in the 90s, late 80s to the 90s to early 2000, it was everything in our community was community based. We had community outreach. We had outposts. We had facilities that would allow officers to be embedded in certain housing units. And that went away when 9/11 happened, because all the money went from community-based policing to fighting anti-terrorism. So, I wasn't brought into this career with the ability to do community policing. It can be taught, and I think you might agree with this, somewhat. Community policing can be taught, but it comes from here, and you can't just expect every single officer to get out of their cruiser and do exactly what I do, or you do, or Tommy Norman does, or Bobby White does. You can't expect that, but you can give them a little more training in regards to following up with those that we get called to, right? I mean, basically, you go to the academy, and what's the academy? The academy just teaches you what the laws are, how to enforce the laws, how to catch the bad guys, and how to write a report. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And everything else.
Let me go to school to be a cop.
Oh, no way. No
right.
way.
But what they fail to show is that, and I might be going out on a limb here, but my 20 years experience in being direct in the community is telling me that anywhere from 85 to 90%. And here is a what do I want to say? Oh, just a phrase that the Pittsfield Police Department and I do not share the same opinion, and my opinions are not of the Pittsfield Police Department, right? So we got to make sure we say it. So, so 85 to 90% of our calls are mental health and/or substance abuse related. We are not substance abuse counselors, as I've never admitted to be. We're not mental health caseworkers. We're not clinicians, but yet we have to be. So, I don't have a degree in that, but yet I have to do everything up into the point of bringing somebody to the hospital. I mean, it's, so the job definitely has taken a turn in the last probably 15 years with everything that's going on in the world. Our mental health calls are going through the roof.
Especially now.
And I know I kind of went off topic a little bit, but community policing to me now is number one. And it's been number one since I started it. And I wasn't a true believer in it. I didn't understand it. It took me 15 years out of my career to understand what community policing is. Again, I think you can teach it, but there again, you can't teach it, right? I mean, that comes from within, and it's the relationships that you build. Families will call me nonstop around the clock. That's what community policing is. It takes a big portion of your private time away. But that's part of it. There's no clock. You can't clock out.
Right. And I know, because I've been invited to weddings, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, you name it. And like I said, it's after hours. And, you know, sometimes you'll get people call me and like, hey, I have this issue going on, and they feel comfortable because of community policing. You know, people tend to tell you more things in the community when you build a relationship with them.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. Somebody asked a question here about, let's see, Citizens Police Academy. We do have a Citizens Police Academy. You know, I don't know how often they run it. I am not part of it. I know they have some outstanding sessions as part of this training. You get to do a ride along. You learn about our defensive tactics. You learn about our use of force continuum, which is what really confuses probably 90% of the people. They don't understand why we use force when we use it, and when we shouldn't use force, or use force that we were never trained to use. You know, that's all stuff that they teach and talk about, and I think that's a lot of the stuff that's causing some of the chaos that we see today.
You know, I did see another question that I did want to, because it was a very, very good question. Here it is right here. You know, I think we talked about this before, and all the negativity. With all the negativity out in the world today, do you find it sometimes hard to wear a badge or wanting to give up what you do? This is both you and Officer Sharpe. She's also in law enforcement. Thank you, Debbie Hardesty, for your question.
So I'll let you answer that first.
You know what? Somebody asked me, have I, you know, given up on humanity because of, you know, some of the recent things? You know, somebody just broke into our foundation and stole. Actually, they broke in twice, so it was almost close to $10,000 worth of stuff that they stole from us. And I said no, because, you know, I still think, I feel like sometimes people, like, here's the thing. It's so easy for us to look down on people and say, oh, well, you know, that person was a druggie, this and that and other. But what led that person to, you know, they have their back against the wall where they have to do that? And sometimes all it takes is one person to say, yo, listen, how can I help you? And that can literally change somebody's whole life around. And I think a lot of times, but it's so easy as people for us to go, oh, you're a druggie, you're just a thief. I hope they throw you away, lock you up, and throw away the key. And what is that? I mean, what is that really doing? So, like, and I know I've been dealing with like the protesters, and it's sometimes so hard because I think too, you see people who get in my face and they tell me that I'm no good, and they tell me that if I'm not protesting with them, that I'm against them. And I'm just like, you know, and I'm like, do you understand? Like, I'm like, I believe in your protest. As a person, a human, as a black officer, a black male in this country, I believe in what you're protesting for. However, you cannot break the laws, because we have to keep everybody, not only you, but we have to keep everybody else safe. And I don't think they, like, a lot of times they understand it, because there's this agenda, and it's like, I can't like you because you're a cop. I can't like you. I don't care what you do. I told somebody I could run in a burning house and save 15,000 kids, but because I'm a police officer, I'm gonna be a bad dude. I'm no good. So there's times where you just feel like, but for me personally, I don't care what you say about me. I'm gonna put that uniform on because I have pride in what I do. I have a lot of pride in what I do, and I will not give up, because I know I have a lot of community members, and I have a lot of youth who look up to me for that support and that help. So I'm gonna continue to do that, because there's more love than hate. So that's mine. Got deep, didn't it? Deep, you about to cry. You about to cry, aren't you?
I know, Doctor. You haven't said a word. You haven't other than answering my itch problem. I haven't heard you say anything. Like,
because he late.
Since when are you speechless?
Never.
I'm 3 days. I'm 3 days sober, so I think that's what I'm coming into. Yeah, I'm challenging myself to go 5 days. Saturday I can drink. Yeah, so I got to drink 40 bottles of water in order to have liquor. So this is small things. Got to keep it fun in COVID.
Oh man! Oh man! Oh man!
This is what I deal with.
So I'll, I can certainly answer part of that as well. I think a lot of people have noticed that I've been MIA for the last like 2 weeks, maybe. I haven't posted as much, and storyline is I did get some negative feedback on a recent post. Because of that, I am currently being looked at by internal affairs. But we'll get through that. It's not the end of the world. It is kind of a little bit of a setback, but I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. It's not going to be the first time that somebody complains. It's not the last, and it's not the first. I do my best to hold my head up high, especially for those in the community that are looking forward to your interactions that that you're able to document, sometimes on a daily basis, sometimes several times a day. What people don't understand is that, when, I started following Tommy Norman's the one that showed me how to like get in people's faces and get out of your car and talk to them and record them. Because listen, recording on your phone while chatting with somebody in the community, that's not easy, right? I mean, that's just awkward. That's just awkward.
It is very.
And some of them kind of look at it like, what are you doing? And people have asked me, have you ever done that against their No. If somebody says, hey, listen, I don't want to be recorded, or hey, what are you going to do with that? They know exactly what I'm going to do. I tell them. And if they say, hey, listen, I would appreciate you not putting that up there. Okay, not a problem. I erase it. But I think those are far and few between. I don't get as much as that, although people tend to think that there are people on the video that don't want to be. They just can't tell me that. And like, listen, you just go somewhere else with your nonsense. I talk to each and every one of them. They find that when people send them things similar to what you see with Tommy Norman, when they send them things from around the world, people they've never met, and they're sending them gifts and want to show love and appreciation. These people, some of them have never, these folks have never experienced something like that in their life. Sometimes it gets to be too much for them, and I don't see them for a while, and then I have a chat, and they're like, yeah, I just don't like being on video. I'm like, okay, that's not a problem. So we I still chat with them, but nobody sees it.
Right.
And I'm okay with that, but there was, I can tell you, I don't share this too often, but you're my bro-tato, and I think it's important that we talk about it. But 2 years ago, I came down with a bout of depression and could not whatsoever get out of it. And thankfully, some meds have helped me. But never in my life did I ever think that I'd be saying that I was depressed. I lived with my mother having that most of my childhood, and swore that, if anything ever happened, I would never get myself to that point. And, unfortunately, I couldn't control it. And I was down for probably, 6-7 months, just down low. And then finally, was able to see it and came out of it. But, back to her question, I mean, that as much as we say the negativity doesn't affect us and won't affect us, it does. And those comments and those messages that come in from people, your faithful followers, the ones that you've, done wonderful things for in the community, they're the ones that'll be there to help you and pick you back up. So for them, I am thankful.
I thank you. I thank you for your transparency. Thank you for that. I love it.
Well, I think there's a lot more officers than people realize that are going through the same thing, and they just can't. They don't want to talk about it. They can't admit it because of who they are. Right? I mean, that's the profession that we're in. We have to be strong. We can't cry. We can't get upset. Well, that's sorry, but that's crap, right? So it's I don't think I ever hit it. I was able just to kind of not push it aside, but I was able to get through it, right? And I think that probably happens in most officers' careers at one point or another. So it's, yeah.
That's good. Ooh, y'all done talked over.
Well, how long is this supposed to go for? Like 2 hours, right?
I said I'm 3 days sober. That would drive me back to my Tito's.
Well, listen. So, all right. Hey, listen. I saw my man Bobby White. He had popped on in here.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he
Oh.
popped on here. He said, "What's up?" so listen. So if anybody that I know a lot of people that follow you follow me. So if anybody wants to follow you, how can they follow you? How can they reach you or anything like that?
So again, you can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. I use Snapchat here and there. I couldn't do with everything going on in my head and my life. I couldn't keep all these social media platforms.
Right.
And but then I got hooked on TikTok, and so
me too.
We have a good following on TikTok, and anytime something funny comes up, I try to use it. And but I'm pretty much everywhere. If you just look up Officer Darren Derby, and you'll find me somewhere on whatever platform. So.
All right. Hey, listen, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you visit me, so now I got to come visit you.
Listen, you were supposed to visit me. What the heck happened?
I know, this COVID and then him.
Well, where's Pittsfield?
If you would have been on time, you would have heard all of that. You see what I'm saying? This is my life right here.
But I'm coming to Pittsfield.
How did you get in here? You know what? That's a whole other. He probably picking locks now. Somebody call the police.
I'm good.
So listen, thank you, brother. We're gonna set something up because I want to come up there and go fishing anyways.
Fishing? I don't really fish. I don't have the patience for fishing.
You gotta try it. It will change your life.
Well, I ain't coming if we go up fishing. Stupid.
I can't take
Find
it.
something else. What else?
Oh yeah, no. Listen, you could take him. We got a spa for him to hang out at.
Yeah. Oh God. You see his feet? The spa will.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Hey, Darren, thank you so much, brother.
All right, brother.
Stay in touch, man. I'll text you later.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Right, take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. I'm glad you showed up. Hold on. We still have a trivia question.
What do you?
I done take care of it already today.
I don't know why. I just.
All right. Listen. Here's y'all ready? The first person to answer this in the comments, we got something for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, there it is. It is. What is the third sign of the zodiac?
I know mine.
No. What is the third sign?
I'm the last sign.
I want this. My answer right there. Good grade.
Your handwriting is terrible. Wow. Anybody get it? So we know that Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac.
So what is Cancer? That's what I am. Cancer's rule.
Somebody got it.
My girl, Las Vegas. Yes.
She Googled it.
Yep. That's my girl right there. Thank you, Julie. So, listen, we are out of here. What are you doing this weekend?
Oh, I'm hosting a breakfast.
You host? So why wasn't I invited?
I have a chef that's coming and that's going to make
a chef.
Going to have omelet stations, and it's just going to be super fun. You know how it is at my house.
I don't even like you. I'm gonna be taking auditions for a new host because he don't invite me. And
never gonna happen. I'm here.
Because I need somebody here that's going to invite me to stuff. That's what I want to do. Okay. So, yeah.
Well, you're a pig, and we don't want to be around you. We don't want to be associated with that.
There is about to be a fight after this. I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a fight. I'm a video recorder too. So, well, listen. Thank you for coming in. Tune in next week, next Wednesday. Derek will be on time. Dr. D.
I think I'm going to go to the barbershop. It's been a month.
You look rough.
I look a mess. I've never done this, but I like it. It's like I feel community. If that. Bye, guys.
Bye. I'll see y'all.